Reveals at the end of arcs are the most exciting part to all of One Piece. In the final moments of Water 7, we got Blackbeard vs Ace, Shanks meeting Whitebeard, Frankie joining the crew, Garp, Dragon, and plenty of other reveals, even bounty reveals. These reveals leave the entire community on their feet with excitement, and so with an arc like Wano, the longest in the series, we are still waiting on so many questions to be answered, mysteries to be revealed, and this is the most important arc in the series, so I cannot wait to see what Oda has planned. A lot of these come from our subscribers commenting on the community post I made, so if you want to be involved in future videos like this, make sure you like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell to be notified whenever we upload a video. And let's start with the most obvious one, and many of you in the comments agreed that we need those bounty reveals updated after we defeat Yonkos, after taking down multiple Yonkos in fact, with Big Mom and Kaido, and making Wano possibly a territory or an alliance to the Straw Hats. Everyone's bounty in this incident should skyrocket in my opinion. We got Sanji Team Rocket blasting a Yonko commander out of Onigashima, Zoro damaging Kaido and defeating a mysterious god race Lunarian, and then there's Long Kid who have defeated Big Mom, but the most important reveal is going to be Luffy, who is the leader of this entire raid, befriending Yamato, the samurai, the Yakuza bosses, and Luffy being seen as the ringleader of the government and already being considered a 5th Yonko. And I want you to let me know in the comments, what do you think Luffy's bounty is going to be after Wano ends? Because we cannot forget that Luffy will have defeated Kaido by the end of this, and that Gorosei want him taken out because he is now officially Joy Boy. And so moving on, we need a few answers when it comes to Wano's territory and the open borders. First of all, will Luffy make this his territory since he is Joy Boy and connected to the prophecy that Joy Boy would return in 20 years after Oden's death? And this is something that I've always been wondering about Luffy and his character moving forward, and with the significance of Wano and Oden's will being carried on by Zoro and Luffy to open up the borders for a certain figure, why was Wano closed in the first place, and why did Oden want to open the country? So many questions and reveals surrounding this plot point. And so now let's talk about Big Mom saying that the One Piece could be in Wano. Why exactly do you think she said this? Does it have something to do with the land of gold? Does it bring us to another reveal? Why is Wano considered the land of gold in the first place? Was Laugh Tale once part of Wano? We probably won't find out about this more until Laugh Tale. However, I'm really hoping we get a little bit more of a hint or a glimpse about what Big Mom was hinting at as some of the One Piece being in Wano. And now moving on, we need to get the reveal of who the next Shogun will be. Personally, I don't think it's going to be Momonosuke, as I don't think he's yet fit for Shogun, at least not yet. He's not powerful enough unless you want to consider the fact that he can command Zunisha as the Kozuki heir, which is a valid point, and although he has grown and become a lot more of a leader, I still don't see him being a great leader now. He still has a lot to learn, he's still young mentally, but with all that being said, there is a really good chance that he actually does become the Shogun, so let me know, what do you think? Who do you think will become the next Shogun, Momo, or will be somebody else? And you know, I also have my theory that Kaido kept Sukiyaki alive to reach his poneglyph, so maybe he could help Momo at the side. Will Yamato join the crew? So I know a lot of people want Yamato to join the crew. Me personally, I do want her to join. Will she join? That's up for debate, right? And if it's not Yamato, who will join the Straw Hats? Will it be Momo, Tama, another character completely? Will Vivi finally make her long-awaited return to the Straw Hats crew? I mean, who knows? But I do actually like the idea of adding a Straw Hat after Wano. And so let's talk about the next island. This is inevitable, but trust me, when we do get that reveal of what the next arc is, the next island, whether it's Elbaf or something else completely, I cannot wait to get the reveal of just exploring those different islands. Getting that initial look into it is one of the most fun parts of One Piece, and that's because of the world building, the creativity that Oda puts into the story. And someone in my comments says, will Onimaru join as Zoro's pet? Knowing that Onimaru is a fox and Zoro's name translates to fox, and also adding in the Ushimaru similarities, I would say it's possible but unlikely. I would drastically prefer Onimaru to Zeus, and it would give Chopper an animal human friend as well. And so speaking of Ushimaru, let's talk about the much needed reveal that everyone wants by the end of Wano. The reveal that Zoro is from Wano and he's related to the Shimosuke clan and possibly a descendant of Ryuma and Ushimaru. Zoro was a natural talent when it came to swordsmanship. He was always naturally talented and passionate by default. So him being a descendant of the God of the Blades will be fitting and a glimpse into Zoro's potential as the greatest swordsman. And also want more information about Ryuma, who is the character who created the culture of Wano. I believe that Ryuma was the one who sometime after the Void Century inspired a nation of swordsmen, and this is what created the land of samurai, the entire culture of Wano as a whole. It was said that he would fight off these people searching for the land of gold, so that had to be a long time in the past, and there is just so much Ryuma lore to learn about with the dragon, the importance of Shisui, and maybe a possible connection to the Void Century. And what about Onigashima? Onigashima is a complete mystery. First, what exactly is it? How is it so massive? What is Onigashima's connection and importance? Who was Onigashima in the past? What kind of person was he? Is Onigashima connected to the Void Century into Wano? Is he connected to the Little Orange Juniors that we saw in Thriller Bark and Marineford? And what about the Oni race and the history of their people? Was Onigashima a place where Onis once lived? Why have they been wiped out? Why does the government plan to recreate the ancient giants? So many questions regarding Onigashima, but most importantly, I need Oda to reveal the true name of Onigashima, as I feel it could be a very important reveal and hint at the end of Wano. And so before we move on, we have been growing at a rapid rate, so if you want to be a part of our community, subscribe for future theories, polls, and discussions. And so one comment is, why does Vegapunk consider Momo's devil fruit a failure? We know that Momonosuke's fruit was considered a failure by Sepia Zero, Vegapunk, and by the end of Momo's arc towards the end of Wano, it would be cool to learn about this and why this was the case. Because according to Yamato, it doesn't seem like a failure. We even know now that Momo is able to use the flame clouds. And this leads me perfectly into Kaido's devil fruit. We need to learn about Kaido's devil fruit. Why is it so important? And more specifically, how he got it from Big Mom and God Valley, why Vegapunk specifically recreated that devil fruit. And Kaido's devil fruit is my personal favorite in the entire series, so I cannot wait to learn more about it. And then we get another comment that says, I want to know, will Brook ever see a panty? And sorry to break it to you, but the world may never know. How do you make a black blade, and why isn't Enma already a black blade? So this comment is referring to Hitetsu, hinting at Zoro, who learned from Mihawk how to create a black blade. If Zoro is able to forge the black blade into Enma, he could possibly raise its potential and rank even higher. So yeah, I think more information on the black blades would be interesting, especially in the land of Wano where samurai roam throughout the nation. And as to why Enma isn't already a black blade, well, maybe we will get this revealed soon as well. Will we find out more about Kaido and why he chose Wano? Is there a connection to the Oni race, Onigashima, or is it because he wanted to witness the Joy Boy legend for himself and he wanted to fight a warrior like Nika? Or is it simply to make weapons factory and wage war against the world? And this actually leads me to Kaido's flashback. I believe that we will see more of Kaido's past soon through a flashback and more of his story. So personally, I do think we need to get a lot more of Kaido and what he was doing in the past before he came Wano, answering a lot of these questions, get a lot more of an introspective look into his character. And when we're talking about Wano and One Piece, possibly the most interesting question to me is, how were the poneglyphs created? The poneglyphs are a very mysterious treasure, a mysterious stone carved out by the masons of the Kozuki in the past. How is it that these stones are unbreakable with a cryptic language and code? Is there souls or magic fused into these to make them so mysterious? And why can Roger hear and feel them? And why were the Kozuki chosen to weave history throughout the poneglyphs and more specifically throughout the Grand Belfry? And speaking of the Grand Belfry, I would love to see a reveal that Shandora was once a part of Wano and the Ancient Kingdom, although I do think it's more likely to be revealed when we get to Laugh Tale. And so now moving on, let's talk about Toki. What happened to Toki? Is she truly dead? What happened to her devil fruit? Was she looking for Joy Boy? Why does she know about Joy Boy? And what does she know about the Void Century? Just so many questions overall when it comes to Toki. Her devil fruit was a very important power and a very unique ability. And speaking of abilities, what about Yamato's devil fruit? Who did Kaido intend to give Yamato's devil fruit to? He knew that it was Wano's deity, which makes me wonder, maybe he intended to give it to Joy Boy after they fought. It's clear that there's parallels between Kaido and Shanks going out their way for these two mythical devil fruit. So more context on that situation with Yamato's devil fruit, or why it was the guardian deity of Wano, could be interesting. And remember that even Kaido seems to be a little bit confused by Luffy's devil fruit. Another thing we have to see is Joy Boy being revealed to the Straw Hats, specifically Nico Robin, because we need Kaido's reaction and plenty of other characters like Hyogoro's, Kinemon's, and imagine how Usopp and Chopper will react to finding out that their captain is a god. Plus we have the entire idea that Luffy's devil fruit has a different name and has to be revealed to him and everyone else. And what about the people of Wano? Because he is going to liberate this entire nation. And then we also have to think about the Gorosei and seeing everybody else freak out when they find out that Luffy is actually Joy Boy. Alright, so before we get into the next mysteries, the next reveals, hit the like button, support the channel. We got plenty of content planned, we got theories, we got discussions. If you have any ideas for future videos that you would like, make sure to let me know in the comments. Why are there different climates in Wano? Wano has a strange geography, and like Tekken 101 says, yes, geography is everything, especially in One Piece. And let me ask you another question. Why didn't the Gorosei capture Luffy earlier in the story? And I actually made an entire video explaining why I believe that Shanks and the Gorosei made a deal that they negotiated that involves Luffy. So go and check that out, but still, I agree that it would be important to learn about this, because otherwise it is a little bit confusing. It does feel a little bit like a contradiction to the Gorosei and why they were not valuing Joy Boy in the Nika fruit as hard as they are claiming it is now. They really only went after Luffy and finished that fight with Kaido and Luffy during the Onigashima raid, which was not even in the beginning of Wano, and you would think they would prioritize Luffy and Joy Boy over the warlords over everything else. And so let's talk about the government ships coming to Wano. The government has foreshadowed that they are near in Wano and that they will have to deal with the country if Kaido loses. Who is on these ships? Are there any more ships on the way? So many questions to be answered. Do you think it's going to be an admiral? Do you think it's going to be a CP0? What is it going to be? And what about the Wano poneglyphs that we still haven't seen yet? And you would expect that Wano, the most important arc, would have the most important poneglyphs, especially because the Kozuki created them. So it would be great to get some massive reveals about the Void Century, the ancient weapons, and Joy Boy, all about that in Wano, as we see Nico Robin really get her big moment as she decodes the ancient writing. We know that the trees are extremely important in One Piece. There's the trees of the Shandorans worshipped as gods, the Sunlight Eve tree, the Atom tree, and the Zou Whale tree. And now with this very peculiar tree at the epicenter of Wano Kuri's capital, it has an odd shape with the Shogun's castle built into it. And I've seen speculation that it could be a giant golden bell inside of it. In this very community post, somebody actually mentioned that it looks like Zunisha or an elephant, and I can kind of see both. I can see the bell, I can see the elephant trunk, and my idea personally was that a massive poneglyph could be inside that tree. But let me know what you think about this tree that is featured in the most iconic scene in Wano that Oda said was his favorite panel in the entire series. And now let's have a little bit of fun here, because what about Zoro and Hiyori? Now, I'm not really a big shipper, I don't really care about shipping, but for me, Zoro and Hiyori, the only one that I really care about. Will Zoro end up with the Samurai Moon Princess of Wano? I think it's a perfect match, but it's probably not going to happen until after Wano, after One Piece even ends maybe. So not much to say about this, but it's really, truly the only ship that I think actually works in One Piece. And so now for a quick one, what will happen to the sword that Luffy took from Hitetsu? And Hitetsu is a complete wild card. He's a mystery man, he wears the mask, he's in seclusion, he's got all these different swords, and he has some knowledge about these swords as well. And speaking of Hitetsu, what secret is he hiding with these wings, the golden bells that we see on his house, possibly referencing the golden bells of Shandora, and there's also the straw hat homes that look bell shaped as well. And in my opinion, we absolutely need to get the reveal that the straw hats come from Wano, or at the very least, Onigashima village was a place that is paying respects to Joy Boy and his straw hat. And who knows, maybe Luffy's straw hat actually came from Wano directly. And so now let's talk about Kaido's road poneglyph. First of all, where is Kaido's road poneglyph? Because Big Mom speculated that it would be at Onigashima or the capital, but that might have been a complete misdirection from Oda. Maybe it's like underneath a volcano or something crazy. I don't know, but I do think that Kaido is hiding it, or at the very least, the Kozukis were the ones who were hiding it somewhere within Wano. Another thing that we need to know more of is CP0 and Sword, and we need these reveals at the end of Wano. Who are the members of the mystery Sword? Is it Aokiji, Garp, Sengoku, Smoker, Iceberg, and most commonly accepted Law? If any of these characters were in Sword, and if we get that Law reveal that he is in Sword at the end of Wano, that would be a crazy reveal to me. Everything about Sword has potential, but at the moment it's kind of boring because you only have Drake and Kobe within it. And on the other hand, CP0 was very underwhelming. They weren't that powerful, and you know, Rob Lucci, we don't even know how powerful he is, but I'm not expecting him to be anywhere near the Straw Hats level. And even when Drake and Kobe were talking about it, they were saying we do not like the implications of the government working with Kaido. Who are these guys with the masks on? Because the guy that interrupted Kaido's fight, did he actually die? I don't know if we'll ever get the confirmation on it, but it actually does seem like he might have just straight up died. And now let's move on to the big boy Zunisha himself, because how will the government, the samurai, and the people of Wano react when they see an ancient giant elephant on some colossal Attack on Titan shit? I mean, could you just imagine seeing that beastly elephant just peering over the waterfalls of Wano? And keep in mind that these people have never had outside contact with the rest of the world, so just imagine what it's gonna be like seeing that. And Zunisha could also give us a lot more reveals, a lot more insight into Joy Boy and who he was in the past. And maybe, hopefully, we could get a little bit of a story from the Nakama Zunisha himself. And so now this one is a little bit less important. It's a lot more in the background. A lot of people might not consider it, but what about Mount Fuji, the Sea Prism Stone? Because I once speculated that the Sea Prism Stone came directly from Mount Fuji. And even if they're not connected, what about the Sea Prism Stone? Because we know that it can directly target against Devil Fruit users. Why is it that Wano is the only country to have Sea Prism Stone? And if it's not coming from the volcano, where are they mining it from? What I really want to see is Usopp actually manage to get some Sea Prism Stone and make a bunch of different weapons. So we've now talked about all of Wano reveals, but now we gotta get into one final thing, and that is the Reverie, because the Reverie is going to have multiple reveals. We are not finished with the Reverie, or at least we don't know exactly what happened. And now this technically is not a part of Wano, but I do think we need to get an update of what's going on outside in the world as far as the Warlord abolishment, including Mihawk, Boa, and Buggy. I would love to find out about Alabasta as well, and what the revolutionaries did to declare war. And also remember, there's a mysterious tragedy, including Sabo as well. On top of this, we got Shanks and Blackbeard to deal with. We also got other characters like Garb, who I have been speculating that will come to Wano, as he is the main character of the God Valley incident and his deep-rooted history with the Rock's crew. At the end of the day, there has been so much going on outside of Wano, so we do definitely need to get a bit of an update, a bit of an information dump about what is going on, maybe through a newspaper. You never know what it could be, but when they open those borders, we might get flooded with information. And so if you did enjoy the video, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe. Affiliate links in the description. And if you want to join us by uncovering the mysteries of the One Piece world, make sure you click on one of these next two videos.